So this is going to be something that you can build right now and you can start to use right now. But it's something that I would encourage you to continue to train and iterate and use on an ongoing basis. And we're going to create a small project that's essentially your business assistant. So in Claude in the sidebar, you can go to projects and you can click new project. And we're just going to name it for this. We're Bright Lane Coaching Assistant and create the project. So right away, it's going to ask you what it can do. And now you could prompt it, but it has no like training or learning or anything at this point. The most important thing is that you can do two things. You can provide instructions, so specific instructions about what you want it to be able to do, how you want it to approach certain tasks, anything like that. But you can also give it files like resources. So in this case, I have 4 files that I'm actually going to give it. They are a brand voice document, frequently asked questions document of questions that I in my business at Bright Lane Coaching get a lot. A document about my personas. So maybe this is some of the source material that you've already created when you're researching your ICP or your competitive positioning against other competitors. You're providing all of that source information to it. And honestly, with any AI and with a project like this, the more you give it, the better a result you're going to get. So while we're giving it some information at the front end, I would, this is the kind of thing where a project will learn from past conversations and get better, but you can also specifically update like the instructions or the files that you provided so that it continues to get better with each use and provide you a better result. This is really it. I've given it those materials. And again, you're sitting there going, oh, I don't have a persona document. You can have that with those 2 prompts that we did earlier. I don't have an FAQ. Gather any kind of feedback you're getting, whether you're getting emails for customers or clients, or you're getting reviews, or you're getting testimonials, or you're getting anything. Gather that feedback to produce something like that, to identify what are the most frequently asked questions that I'm being given. And that's another Claude. Dump them all in there and say, help me analyze this and understand what the top themes are that my customers are asking. This Bright Lane recent emails, literally like recent email sends. And I will say this is something kind of cool because like we're doing this for other uses than just writing emails, but it's kind of similar to the approach of the newsletter assistant where it learns so much about your voice and your content and your style from your website and your past sends so that it can write as close to like your voice and your style and your content as we can get it. Right?
Projects are super useful for this because although like ChatGPT and Claude have memory, so they have an understanding of other ways they've interacted with you and like who you are, how you write, all that sort of stuff. But projects, the way Jesse is setting it up, is a way for you to like pointedly guide what's being generated by giving it examples like this. Like you are going to get more predictable generated content when you set up a project like this with examples than if you were just chatting in a chat, regardless of how much memory the app has about you. It's really cool. This is smart.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, in my work at AWeber, I have a copywriting assistant that I built that like it learns our voice, our style, our content, and every use and every bit where I give it feedback and I say, actually, don't do this, don't do that. It learns that. I think I said it earlier on the show, like, you may be working with a human assistant and have to provide the same feedback 4 or 5 times for it to like stick. You don't have to with this. It learns from your feedback and gets better. Okay. So literally I named a project. I gave it 4 files. Now I will say, if you gave it some instructions, it's only going to be that much better. And I recommend doing that at some point. I'm not necessarily doing that for this case today. But that's right there in the settings too. And another like hack tip, the way I usually write the instructions is I'll go to Claude in a chat and say, hey, I'd like to write instructions for a custom project, for a Claude project that should do these things. Help me write an expansive prompt and ask me whatever you need to know. And it will walk you through it and give you that instruction prompt that you can paste in to the project instructions rather than, again, sitting there and just trying to write it all yourself. But for this case, we gave it 4 files. I think that should be enough. And right away, we're going to put it to work. So we'll go ahead and I'll ask it to draft a launch announcement email for Dana's new group program, the 90-day career pivot. It starts March 1st. Some information about it, the cost, the persona, and make it feel like Dana wrote it at her kitchen table, not like a marketing email. So we'll let that run. And because it's working within this project, it's you know what, Chris? It's actually reading my copywriter skill because I'm in my AWeber account. Whoops. So it's going to come out with some other additional instructions, but it's also referencing the Bright Lane documents that I gave it, the brand voice, the FAQ, the persona, and boom, right there, it's already written me that launch announcement that I wanted. So again, you could have this do so many things. If you have data, if you have like sales data for your business, if you have, like I said earlier, feedback loops from your customers or clients, dump that information in here. You can set these so that you can set your account so that it doesn't like train other, like Claude on your personal data, so it keeps your data private. But you can dump all of that business data in there and get have an assistant that can do business analysis. Like we showed earlier, you could use this trained assistant because it'll have better context to do some of the prompts that we did earlier, like identifying your ICP and doing a competitive teardown. You can use it to do business analysis, to do marketing, to write promotional content in your voice. I mean, there's really no limit. Anything that you would imagine using an assistant for, you can begin to train. And the whole benefit, like Chris said, of the project is that it has memory and context around, as well as the source that you provide it around what your business and what you're trying to do. And it just gets better with each use.
Yeah, I'm looking at like some of my projects. I have a project to,
Pop over.
well, I have a lot of mess on my screen, but I have a lot of, or I have a project to analyze our net promoter score responses. I have one to summarize people's web forms. So like if somebody shares code from a web form they're trying to build, a sign up form they're trying to build, I can paste it into the web form summarizer and it tells me what the form behavior is currently, so I can compare that to what the person is trying to do. I actually just used that the other day to help with a really cool multi-step like onboarding form somebody was building. Yeah.
On the AWeber side, we do a lot of live events, and our coworker Alicia helps with a ton of those, several per month. I have a project that analyzes the performance of those events and identifies topics that resonate. It analyzes the chat from all of those events, the attendance, the registration versus attendance, the what happens with people post event, like stuff that honestly I was never going to have time to sit and do on my own, or I'd have to outsource to another team member or resource. But to be able to just feed that information and have it, frankly, it's helped us understand like these kinds of events don't resonate as well, so much as one with a specific topic and a specific outcome. We on the internal AWeber events that we do for our customers and prospects, I tried one that was just like office hours. Hey, bring your questions, show up, wide open. And it was so underattended and so underengaged with. And we quickly learned like saying how to do this specific thing for this outcome mattered to people. And it helped us learn that quickly versus, not having that insight. So absolutely encourage playing with projects. And like with all of these things, like test the limits. Can do more than you think. And I think the biggest takeaway here is if you're underutilizing Claude, I hope that these 4 short demos help you at least think differently about what you could be using with Claude or ChatGPT or one of these LLMs.